All right, everybody. Welcome to episode number 2 of the VGM Show. I'm your host, VGM Hero, and I'm here to save your day, or your week, or even your lives. All right. See, I'm sorry, my cat is like right here on the mouse. Come on, honey. She's like sitting on my mouse, so this is getting stupid. All right. Oh, one thing, if you might have noticed, probably didn't notice because my background's all weird. This is the living room, but I rearranged my corner over here, and look what I got over there, guys. All of this right here. It's like my PS4, my Wii games, my Switch games, my PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2. I think that's about it. That's all that I have out there on the DVD. That's the DVD rack. If I rotate it, there's like 4 sides, and I've got tons of DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff. Wanted to make sure that I responded to everybody. Okay, yeah, let's do that first. This is going to be the thank you response video. I'm going to start consolidating everything, guys, from Twitter. All the stuff that I was doing that was fun. I'm just going to put it all into here because I'd rather have the engagement here now so that I could do long form videos like I always wanted. I did want to do this podcast for a long time, and Twitter, I just can't mass tag. I'll try it again. Papa J from the Big Lip Radio podcast was telling me that he didn't get penalized for it last time, so maybe it kind of went away. I don't know, but yeah, I this was already a while ago, so give me a second because all right, it's this one.
Hey guys, happy.
All right, this is the one, yeah, where I asked about AI, and I really appreciate all of you guys that responded about this one because I needed some help, and it was really nice because everybody had sort of a different. Dude, this cat, Moxie, baby. I'm gonna take a drink. This is a gimlet. It's way too late for this, but ooh, real lemony. All right. Thank you to Jude. Really appreciate it. And I promise I will get back to you about your question of the week. I've just been dealing with this podcast and everything else. You're going to get in trouble. The podcast and everything. So I haven't gotten back to you, Jude. Sorry about that. I will. Your question was about what to do for the summer. So, well, I guess I was going to say it in this episode anyway. I went to the water park and stuff. I went to Soak City. It's Knott's Berry Farm, Soak City, and I love water parks personally, but I don't like roller coasters, so I can do water parks. I don't know. It's something about being strapped into something that I don't like, but um, I promise that I will elaborate a little bit more in a personal video for you, Jude. But thank you for you messed with ChatGPT. I have too, but you have to sign in, and it's a little weird. I just wanted to use like the free version of most things and stuff, and like it gets weird when you sign in because I've done it before, and I just don't really. I only ask it like random questions. It's sort of like a better Google for me. But I ended up going with Crifton. I think he was one of the first to respond. Uh, I'm using Gemini because I'm already logged into Google most of the time from everything else. So I just gave it a go, and it did exactly what I wanted, and it blew my mind. It was one of the craziest things ever because I needed help with the artwork. So I appreciate the suggestion because Husky, appreciate you, man. I know that you use ChatGPT too, and Grok. I don't know. Like again, I don't have the blue check mark, so it's not available to me. I think because I tried using it a long time ago, but you have to pay. I'm not gonna do that for Twitter. So I think that Grok probably could be cool, but I guess I'll just stick with Gemini for now. So top loader, thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Chat GPT once again, yeah. Grok from Roos, my buddy Roos. Appreciate you, man. Thanks. A lot of people said ChatGPT, and then Papa J, Big Lip, appreciate it. You went on to do a bunch of different ones because of Z Money. So yeah, like I really appreciate it, Joseph. 80s and 80s drew me as like an old one, like with white hair. That's pretty realistic one. Um, thank you, thank you to Geek Hero Bubba. You're the dad. Appreciate it, man. Swedish Game Nerd, Unplugged Game Boy. Appreciate you guys. And Crifton, yeah, I see that's he. When I saw that, I was like, okay, I'll give it a go, and it worked brilliantly. Just did exactly what I wanted it to. Azure, appreciate you, man. And new guy Jeremiah. Yeah, I know that people would actually. Yeah, if I actually did get a picture of John Lennon with the with the hot dog costume. You guys got to check some of them out. That everybody's were suggested. They're cool photos and stuff. But I did do John Lennon in a hot dog suit. I thought it was great. So I do appreciate all this, guys. I went with Gemini, and anyway, we'll get into some of the stuff that I. Oh, my cat jumped off my lap. Um, we'll get into some of the stuff I wanted to talk about today, which is basically, of course, it's still ongoing from the Sony fallout. My God, endless, endless hatred of PlayStation and Sony right now. It's unbelievable. We'll talk a little bit about ownership. We'll talk about DVD. Yeah, a hot topic. I really hope I don't get in trouble for that one. Physical versus digital. Again, yeah, lots of that. Oh, okay, yeah. All right, so I'll have some questions and good stuff. Once again, thank you guys for the suggestions about AI. I will look into ChatGPT a little bit more because that was heavily suggested. But as long as Google did what, or Gemini did what it did, I can't believe it. I'll reveal all that stuff later. But that's kind of like my personal works that I'm working on. I just couldn't draw anything for it, so it'll be nice to use that to draw labels and logos and whatever little things and little thumbnails and whatever. It really would help. So thank you very much. Um, all right, and then yeah, you know what? Before I move on, I do want to say that there are only really two other podcasts that I think you guys should check out. Maybe like three, four other pages. I mean, I'm gonna be giving everybody shout outs eventually, but I'd start with at least just the other podcasts that are working hard. So Big Lip Radio, you guys got to check that one out. It's just he's a personal friend of mine, uh, Papa J on there, and he's a really really excellent retro collector and all that stuff. So I just think that like you gotta check out that guy, and then only other podcasts that I listen to possibly when I have the time because I got podcasted out a while back, so I had to switch to videos and stuff. But I'm back to listening again, and it's got to be Arcade Attack UK. Arcade Attack, those are a great couple of old guys that really know like basically all of gaming, just all varieties, and they cross from the beginning to the end. It's just amazing their entire experiences as like three or four guys. So I like what they talk about, and I like the adults in the room, I guess you could say. Um, so Big Lip Radio, and check out Arcade Attack UK. Really, really good podcasts, I think. Uh, Now, moving into some of the stuff that I wrote down throughout the week and everything. Uh, this whole ownership thing is really. I'm glad that 80s retro gaming, one of my friends that you guys should definitely check out. Um, he was making a point about how. I mean, we're starting to see those directions being steered where it's about ownership now, and it's about time that we actually talked about it. But it's still not the major talking point. The major talking point is that, and I hate this. I'll be honest with you. I'm kind of grossed out. All I see all day is fuck Sony, fuck this, fuck that, fuck, fuck, fuck. I'm just over that. I'm sorry, guys. I don't really dig it. It's like I really want to know what we can do, and like instead of just like saying that kind of shit over and over and over. I don't know. I don't really think it was helping the cause in some sense, like to not articulate exactly what's, the right, like what we're talking about here, which is ownership rights. And I definitely don't want to see physical go away. In fact, that's something I wanted to talk about. I was talking to a buddy of mine at work about it, and we came. I mean, he just threw it out there. He was like, "Well, don't make physical go away, but why don't you just do it on demand? Like, why don't you?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, right. Like, you can order it ahead of time, and they just still do it. Like for all of those people that want to do it." And I guess in some way, if they did that, then I think we'd all be doing it. But like, there are games that are only digital sometimes, and like, I don't know, like when a game is on three different systems, do you get them all, or like, do you prefer CDs over the SD card, the the Nintendo card, the Nintendo Switch cards, which are, they're nice. I like them. I don't know how reliable they are in 25 years. I know that CDs, you got to be careful with those. I personally, as much as I love CDs, they get scratched. Like my glasses. My glasses get scratched and shit, and they're really important to me. Shit happens. So this whole thing about, I'm breaking it down. I said something else here, and I'll include what I said, but it's like what I was really thinking about was just that, like, I kind of don't like the attitude that everybody has as far as like physical collectors. Like, the whole attacking each other about, like, I bought digital games for the most part now, but that's because I'm a PC gamer, and most people have to stipulate that PC games don't even have discs now and stuff. So it's like, I wasn't really in the game as much. I was a highly invested. I loved playing video games. I was highly invested in just playing them and learning about them my whole life, but it wasn't like my dad and I were necessarily like collectors, like getting each game all the time. We kind of just picked the hot titles and maybe got some of the other ones, and we were lucky. I know I was lucky in that sense, but then when I see some of your guys' collections, I'm like, oh my god, like that is insanity. Like you guys aren't emulating any of it. You have the entire library and shit. That's crazy. You know what I mean? It's impressive as hell. But I didn't have the foresight at the age of 10. I didn't. And I don't know if my dad did either necessarily, but like we have a lot of stuff from the good old days. I have a lot of this. I never really got it. I don't get rid of stuff. Not stuff like that anyway. All the stuff that I have is what I've collected myself, and it's pretty casual. I don't this isn't to say that I'm not like again, I have a very, it's probably one of my favorite things in the world to do is game and to learn about them and to experience them at least just one time. Timeless classics and stuff like that. And beyond, trying new games like Repo, these new ones that are digital only and on PC. I'm sorry, I like the PC a lot after all my years of console and PC gaming. I didn't have anything impressive in my earliest years. I didn't have a really nice PC until I was what, like just the last 8 years or so, like, and I have a second computer now that's much, much nicer. But like, I got a computer around COVID from, built by a buddy of mine using like pretty inexpensive parts at the time anyway. And like, it really, really performed compared to something that I had that was like a family computer. You know what I mean? So I've been PC gaming and console gaming from, TurboGrafx, Sega Genesis. I've been doing the whole thing, and I've had my own collection and stuff. But this whole thing is revolving around like not being able, like the way that games used to be made was that like you didn't have to get on the internet. Now that when you back up the conversation enough, you can actually start to see that this is about ownership in general, and it's also about, like, when it comes down to the physical, it was about owning just like a DVD. Like, you could watch this movie at any time on your DVD player, which is why I have a pretty vast collection of my own DVDs. I don't have everything, but I have all the good stuff, and I like a lot of movies. So I've got good stuff in each category. Um, but this whole thing about like what they do with digital and these user license agreements and like things in the terms of service, these kinds of things, uh, they they're the way that they've done it is obviously to protect themselves a lot and to like maximize profit, I suppose. You know what I mean? I don't really know the actual worded, like, I don't know what they'd be willing to admit to about it, but it's something like that, right? And so it's like the thing about it is that we as gamers that like really love games the way that I do and stuff, we just want them to be available even for purchase again. We just want them to not like disappear because like they're like a part of history and like they're considered like works of art. They're sort of like comic book editions. Like comic books are like collectibles like that where they come in volumes and they come in sequels and whatever and spin-offs and they're all unique in their own sense or whatever. I don't know. They're like action figures in a sense, and like we just don't want these things to go away because they're more than action figures. They're a lot like books. You know what I mean? They're a lot like stories that you can actually dive into and play as the main character. So it's like this it's a lot like books in that sense, but like you just it's got the edge of action figures. I don't know. It's like they shouldn't they shouldn't be withheld in some sense from the public like that, and it's sort of like how books shouldn't be either. By a bunch of people that don't want to actually go through the legal troubles or the, you know, to like make it sellable to us again, and then call it piracy if you try and get something that's not even probably available. I don't know. It's sort of like it's pretty rare, like to find something that like like I've mentioned Man Overboard on the Genesis, and a buddy of mine, OG Sega Steve, he has a copy of that, and he's like, I can't believe you even mentioned that game. That game's really, really rare. And I was like, well, I played my fair share. I emulated quite a bit, because like I was just a kid. And granted, I'm telling you, like thousands of games unavailable to get. You know what I mean? You can't, or I don't know. It's a lot that are unavailable to just like repurchase or anything like that. I kind of wish that that there wasn't so much red tape that was making everything so difficult to like see through, like the problem with like not being able to play GoldenEye because of or whatever, like the N64 and the rare deals, they can't come to an agreement about something. That's really sad. Anyway, um I said things about my DVD collection. I mean, that's what I just noted here was that I have my collection of DVDs in case the internet goes out. Yeah, I get what physical's about. Oh, that was mentioned. Let me see if I put this. Pretty sure I wrote that down somewhere. I said because my buddy said you should be able to order a physical on demand. It's like it's not just that, but like shouldn't they come with those? I mean, we talk about that a lot, the instruction manuals, right? The having some instructions in there, possibly like a thank you card. I don't know. It's like, and I said some other stuff too, like throw some candy in it, like a sticker, and like an online store thing where you could like redeem it into Steam and have an avatar, whatever. Just have some fun with it. Throw some candy in it. I don't know. It's like you could have a lot of fun with physical in its own ways, and they should make it like worth it to buy the physical. And especially if you buy a limited edition thing, it should be something cool, like a little statue or like a little figurine or like something. It's what I would do if I was running the company. I mean, you can't tell me that you can't afford doing something cool like that, like a keychain, you know, for all the limited editions that you sell for the first 100 to 200 that are pre-ordered. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm pretty sure that could be, I'm pretty sure that could be done. Maybe that's just my opinion. Yeah, all right. So I mentioned going to water parks. I do love going to water parks a lot. I like swimming. I like the water, and I like big slides or whatever. Like, it is scary. Trust me. I don't really like heights that much. Not like that. It's weird. But my hands start. You know, it's like I can't even help it. I don't know what to really do. Maybe I need to see like a therapist or like skydive about 55 times. I don't know, but man, like when I watch The Matrix, when he's outside of the building, like I just and then like he almost falls and he puts his hand against the thing, right? And he like holds himself. You could just see his hand being all like sweaty or you know what I mean? Like you can see I'm just like, tell me about it, man. I can't thank God I'm not up there holding onto a bar. That's why I don't even go on tall buildings anymore. Like, what's the point? Why do I have to go to the 44th floor? Is this crazy or something? Like that is a 44th. That is crazy up there. That is, you know what I mean? Like, and then they got like the Burj Khalifa, like the tallest building in the world or whatever, right? The tallest hotel building in the world at like 138 floors or something like that. It's ungodly. It's just it's like I'm but a mere humble earth server. Like if I see something that tall, it's like I grovel and I can't believe it how in its magnificence and how huge it is, right? It's just it's crazy. Oh, I did. Yeah, I wrote it right there. Okay. Throwing some candy in it. Yeah. Found it. Okay, here's a question that I have for you guys. Uh I have like this cat. I have like six Joy-Cons, and in one way or another, because I have monsters for children, um, like, is it worth it to like do something like try to repair these things? Uh, is it like maybe I should just like trade in? I don't know. Like all of them, like the either the right trigger, something's up with each one of them. The right shoulder, like when you turn the Joy-Con sideways and you start using those buttons on the side, the black buttons on the slider. Um, some of those don't work or whatever. Like just because my kids must have really squeezed them. It's unfortunate, but I'm gonna buy new ones just because I want new ones. They run like $90 a pair, which is what it is. I've put it off for a long enough time that I think I'm due some. But it's like, wow. What about like should I repair them? Like I want to, maybe slowly over time if I have to. But like, is it worth it? Will it work again? Anyway, it was just something I was curious about. And I do have a place that I go to nearby that actually does fix up stuff pretty good. So whatever time they would need to take, I would just let them have it and just give them once anyway. But it's just a question. Is it worth it to try to fix Joy-Cons? And I'm not talking about the drift. Like the drift, I would have sent them in because they did fix them at one point. I did have to send a couple of them in because it was pretty quick with the drift. But they were good on their word about that. They did like pay for all of it except for like shipping or something like that or whatever. I forgot. Like it was definitely worth it in my opinion to get like professionals to handle it that they deem worthy. Um. Anyway, yeah, I just would like to know your guys' thoughts about that. About physical, I mean, in digital, until this gets resolved, I feel like that's all we're ever going to talk about. Um, I'd like to suggest that they do like SD cards or flash drive games. I've mentioned that before. I don't know how um, reliable all of that is in the end. I would prefer if they would make cases that could hold them and like preserve them. In some sense. I don't know. But I would imagine that if we want physical, we might have to somehow update the way that we do it. You know what I mean? Like, so it might be micro SD cards. I really hope that they're not that small or something. I don't know. It'd be kind of interesting to see everybody's collection, like all these. all these cases and everything, and then there's a case that's like really small, like like the size of a post-it note, right? Like just some small ass case, and it's got like a micro SD card or two in there or whatever. I don't know. What's the that's what a question was that I had was like, what's the future of like physical collecting? What would you like to see? How would you like it to be? Sorry guys, a little lemony, so it's just stinging my throat a bit here. Whew. All right, about the water parks. Here's the thing. It's like there are kids around. You know what I mean? I guess it's what's like what bothers me about it. I personally don't really give a damn, but man, like just the kinds of things that you'll see when people go out dressed like that, it's just like sheesh. I won't shame anybody for it because I'll be honest with you, I don't really give a damn, I guess right now, at this point right now, to do something like that. I would do it, but it's like in the times that we live in right now, for some reason it's all backwards. Like I said, I'm thinking about like the kids around here, and it's like it's not a good place to have a thong bikini. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. It's just sheesh. You know what I mean? There should be a little bit of like dress code. It's okay to go in a bikini, but just maybe not a thong bikini. Like, yeesh. Because first off, there are some that have the body for it and some that don't. And I don't mean to be offensive about that, but I also mean that, like, even if you do look good, it's still kind of like there are kids around. Like, damn, yikes, guys. Like, I don't know. Maybe I can't say much because I go around in swim jammers, which are basically like long, like they're like wearing compression shorts, right? Like I wear the swim jammers, like the speedo. I actually could do a speedo. I could not believe it when I tried it on. I actually did not look bad in a speedo. Just so you know, could not believe it. But yeah, like I love going to water parks, but that was something I thought about. Is that take it easy on how you dress because like it's around. Gotta have some level of shame, guys. Like that. I guess that's what I thought about. Is that like I although I wear that, it's not skimpy. You know what I mean? I'm not. There we go. It would be like if I was wearing a European cut speedo or something, right? Like the difference? Like a real banana hammock, like yikes. Where like even I have like a thong for me and it's just cupping my nuts. Yeah, just something to think about for society. I think that like shame needs to come back. I really do believe that. It's not like I'm shaming somebody because I want to be a dick about something, but it's like you got to have some level of shame. Like if you know you have a problem with something and like if it's alcohol, right? If you have a problem with alcohol and you know you need to like either cut it down and get a grip on it or like quit completely because you just have bad habits when you get drunk because you can't stop, and you're 5 beers in or like 5 cocktails in or whatever, and like you just look down at your drink, if you don't feel the shame in like understanding that you need to make better decisions of some sort about it, right? Some people just can't. They probably just shouldn't drink because they just can't stop. I've known people like that. You know, it's eat, if it's eating or like not losing weight or whatever it is, like you gotta be able to like think about like you're making a bad decision. So like I don't know. I didn't want this to get too serious about anything, but going to water parks is, like I said, there's both sides of the coin where it's like some people can wear it, but even if they wear it, it's like you really want to do that at like a theme park with a bunch of kids. It's weird. And then the people that really shouldn't be wearing it, it's like, yikes. Guys, get a grip. You should not come out like that. Be conservative, I guess, or like be, like be nice. I really don't care if you have a big old gut or something like that. I really don't care about that. But like, you shouldn't be wearing like this. I don't know what to say. It's like a like I said, skimpy is like not even putting the right word on it. It's I almost want to say slutty. There you go. That's kind of what I mean. Like something that's like yeesh. Like why are you dressed like you? You know. I'll let that go. But it's the guys too. Okay, I'm not. Although most of the guys, I didn't see anybody wearing the European cut. Like most guys just wear the shorts and whatever. In fact, like I said, it's me. I wear the swim jammers, so it's tight on me. I got the Superman spandex kind of thing going on or whatever. But still, it's like I'm not wearing the Speedo on purpose. I would only do that at the beach probably, and I know that there's even kids there, but like certainly not like at a theme park designed for kids for the most part. I'm just a big kid. That's why I enjoy it so much. Let's see. All right. So I've been telling a couple of buddies of mine, like Mr. Sushi Hut, which that's another page that you guys should check out, Mr. Sushi Hut on Twitter. All of the people that I've mentioned have been on Twitter for the most part. That's where the engagement happens. That's where the conversations happen, the real back and forths and whatnot. But if you talk to that guy, I mean, he's pretty brilliant with most of his takes. I think he's really, really smart. I like what he talks about. I was mentioning to him and a few other people, like my other buddy Retro Rebellion, who also you should check out. I think he's absolutely brilliant. And he'll go on for a long time. Like that's what you'll notice is that there's a lot to read or a lot to listen to, a 20-minute video. I loved all of it. It to me is completely riveting. It's completely engaging. I'm just gripped. I'm just listening and I'm taking it all in. And I just really, really respect his opinion. So those two guys are some of my favorite people. Those two guys are some of my favorite people on Twitter. You guys should definitely check out those two pages. And I was talking to them and Joseph, Old Hunter Joseph, a good friend of ours, also works with sushi, about crafting like a digital media rights ownership kind of like a bill of rights. And it only came up just because I was looking at a couple of different things involving like what this, you know what I mean? Like just looking at a lot of different things involving this conversation. This all happened way before the PlayStation debacle. But it was just, it has to do with the issues of ownership, which I had already identified, is that like this conversation about physical versus digital, amongst other hotly debated topics, it's just we're not getting to the core, and I knew that the core was about just owning the stuff that you do, like perhaps GOG is a good example, GOG.com, with their games that you can get when you buy it digitally. You can, if they don't have it anymore and it's delisted, you can still use it from what I understand or whatever. And apparently it's that way with Steam in some ways too, but for all I know, the terms of service and the user license agreements, there may have been something in there that was a caveat. So I'm not really sure right now, but basically it was, I started, I had to start consulting ChatGPT about like what I'm onto here, and basically it said that you're looking for some sort of a bill of rights. Would you like me to concoct one up? So I did have it cough me up just a rough draft of what's going on here. But the good thing is that it takes all the information that's current information about like legal rights involving this matter amongst a couple of other branches that I totally forget just because it was a couple weeks ago when I did this. It's I haven't worked on it since then, but that this is exactly what we're trying to look for. And there's already something I saw from I'll repost it if I can find it. I think I bookmarked it, but it's a petition that was started on change.org for physical media rights for video games and whatever else possibly. But you can sign the petition, so I guess I'll repost it in just a little while. But you guys might want to check that one out. It asks for your first name, last name, your email, and then it asks if you would like to be like displayed on this petition. So if you're comfortable with it, I wasn't comfortable with it at first, just thinking about it, but I'll get back to it. Just because, seems odd. My email. All right, fair enough. I'll more than likely do it. It just at first, at least when I looked at it, I was like, "What? I got to give up all this crap for this, or whatever." But yeah, there are things that are like this that are just now happening, but that's merely a petition. But whether it was stop killing games or something, some people are trying to do it, and that's been the right course of action. That's been it. And I'm just surprised that for all these retro gaming experts and whatnot, and I'm not trying to be snide or a jerk about it, but it's like, why has the conversation always stayed the same? But it's like, there we go, all my kids' toys. But it's never evolved into what it should have been a long time ago. Like, why didn't we try this a long time ago? Why? Well, I mean, story as old as time, right? That we just always wait till it's too late before we try to act about this stuff. It's a shame. I was trying to do something about it because it was still a hot topic. I mean, as hot a topic as many others. So I don't know. Maybe we should try tackling these things. I'll go ahead and post up what I got from my snapshots of ChatGPT, what it spat up about all this stuff when I finally asked it to go ahead and do it. But ultimately, I mean, the conversation that I was having a back and forth about led to saying that, and it's true, we have to be able to make some sort of a compromise because this is what I took away from it. And it's true, like I said, I've already thought about this. This company, obviously, these corporations are protecting something and they want to make money off of it because it's important and stuff like that. But it's like, we have to be able to steelman their argument in some sense. We have to be able to understand their perspective. And we have to be willing to actually call a spade a spade. If it's about greed, then it's about greed. But the problem still here is even if we set the greed aside, the damn games, the ones that we all love and everything, I mean, these things are not resold, they're not remade, and they're not available. Not everything is. And I guess I'm looking at the bigger picture here. I think that the conversation has basically stayed at this level, just everybody butting heads the whole time. But we haven't really moved beyond that and just said, like, all right, like, how do we make a deal of some sort where these corporations can pretty much keep their piracy protection, right? Like when I think about it, like, I wouldn't even want one copy to be pirated when I want people to be able to afford my game and I want it to be in everybody's household. And so it's possibly true that this is a lot to do with greed because I'd be selling my game for $15 or $20 if it really meant, like is it because it needs to be a reasonable price? Is it because, I want to help all families, both poor and rich, be able to get my game, and I don't want any of it to be pirated because I worked hard on that shit, right? Like I'm looking at this from that side of things, and I don't know exactly like what else, maybe I'm missing other elements here, but like if it's because availability, I mean, I already mentioned like the red tape, like the whole thing between Rare and and Nintendo to not be able to re-release some of those games like GoldenEye or whatever, right? Like other games that I'm not even thinking about. Yeah, it's bogus because apparently they can't come to some sort of agreement because, certain documents were lost and a lot of the IP rights and everything got muddled or whatever. And you know what I mean? It's just weird. I don't know if there's an ongoing case right now. Maybe somebody else could tell me. I'll probably hit up ChatGPT right after this about it. But I just want to, you know, actually steer that conversation that way from, just like digital versus physical, perhaps come up with a Bill of Rights or something that both helps the corporations keep their anti-piracy laws and protections in place, their countermeasures, and that we sign an agreement that we can't go on and sell it or like do something or not sell it but like illegally sell it in some way, copy it and sell it, or we'll get in trouble as hell and whatever. I don't know. Like I just want to make sure that I don't mind abiding by that. I don't mind letting people borrow my games, but they have to give them back and shit. You know what I mean? I just it's ludicrous when you're an adult and if you love games that much, you probably have done enough research for this. I'll admit that one of the bigger problems about digital versus physical is that a lot of the normies just buy digital because it's something that comes almost standard in like the case of the Xbox Series S. If you're just a casual gamer and you just buy that or whatever, your parents buy the games for you digitally and they buy you a Game Pass or whatever. You know what I mean? So I'm just tired of blaming each other when it's weird because like why would we why would anybody be blaming other gamers and other customers and consumers, right? How could you do that knowing that we don't make the fucking decisions? And then you try to boil it down, it's because you voted with your wallet. And it's like, dude, what the fuck? Like everybody voted physical with their wallet who did vote physical, and that didn't stop PlayStation from making this move. Right? It's not us, the people who are this level of involved with video games. It's probably just normies. And even me, like I said, it's not like I'm a trader. What the fuck do you want? I play on Steam, jackass. Like I play on the PC. And you dare tell me that that's not a system that I can't play video games on. They sell it for the most reasonable price, and I've come to terms as a pure look, as an avid purist gamer, right? Like I play them for the art form. I really wish I could keep all the collections, but I've come to learn that shit like that might happen. You know what I mean? Shit fucking happens. But and I totally respect anybody that wants to have the physical, no different than how I have physical video games there. Those are the ones that are at least important to me so far. That's Metal Gear Solid 2, 3, that's God of War 3, 1, 2, 3. It's all the good stuff. So all I'm saying is that the games that matter to me, I certainly picked up, but the games that like I can let go are the ones that I probably have been playing over the last couple of years anyway. Except for Monster Hunter, which was, I mean, the games have been brilliant. The games that I've been playing, Cuphead is awesome. You know what I mean? And I'll probably end up buying it physical eventually because I do not want to really lose that. You're right. But that's certainly not all games. And a lot of the games that I have on Steam are already old games that I didn't have in the first place and probably run $400 to $900 now anyway. So don't be busting anybody's balls just because like they can't afford to do what everybody else does when they're a purist physical collector and stuff like that. I have respect for it and all of that glory and everything, but my question to these people is this: would you seriously rather anyone who buys digital and does it this way, would you rather them having not experienced the game at fucking all because they couldn't afford to find a way to do it physically? It was more convenient to just play the game. What if the other fact is, and I think his name is like Clayton Morris on YouTube. He's another YouTuber you guys should check out. He seems pretty cool. I've been liking him. He said that he had to come to terms with that too, that he's getting old. And it's like, am I just being nostalgic? I mean, perhaps you are. I doubt it. He came to terms with it the way that I have, where he said that he just bought 007, what is it, First Light or whatever, I forget what it's called, 007 racing game that was released. He played it, he 100%ed it, and he actually feels like he would never actually play it again. Okay? That's exactly what I'm talking about. You might own it physically, but I mean, like there are some movies that I could live without. You know what I mean? Like, I really don't have to see. I don't think I'll ever need Junior with Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't think I'll ever really need that. I don't think I'll ever really need Blazing Saddles. Once you've seen it once or twice, it's fine. You know what I mean? Blazing Saddles is funny. Don't get me wrong. It's a great film. But personally, I don't really need a copy of that. What I need a copy of is like Total Recall, Conan the Barbarian, you know, and I need copy a Terminator 2. Okay, I saw what happened with the Sony pull and the movies and the digital. I don't have digital. I have like 2 digital movies just because because they were the same price as fucking renting it just to see it again. So you see what I mean? Like digital isn't actually bad or anything. There's nothing wrong with the consumer here. We we abide by what we get, and I wish we got something that was permanent, like physical, but we don't right now. So we have to fix that. I guess that's what I'm really tired of is I'm seeing everybody dunk on each other. Poor crybaby, keep whining about your car that doesn't have a CD-ROM disk drive anymore, right? And then the other side, like, this fucking bitch is not a real gamer because he's a digital shill. Keep sucking that digital cock, you fucking piece of shit. And it's just like, God, what kind of humans? What is wrong with humanity? What is wrong with everybody? What the fuck is wrong with everybody? Chill the fuck out. Is anybody else feeling me? Like, what is wrong with everyone? Don't come after us. Go after Sony or whatever. But I don't think you're going to get anywhere by calling them the worst things in the world. You know what I mean? Like, I've just got to be honest. If they got nothing but pure, imagine just seeing what would be the hatred, like all the hate for it. But what if it wasn't hate? It was all just like eloquent paragraphs and all good faith arguments. You know what I mean? Like, what if they saw that? I wonder what the response would be to that. Because if it was still nothing, then we could do all the other stuff. But everybody always goes out with the whole fuck you, fuck this, fuck that, fuck Sony. I'll never buy another fucking PlayStation again, dude. It's really crazy because there's a question that I have for my buddy Synth Spacies, another great channel to follow. Synth Spacies, brother, I really got to ask guys like you that might have remembered the market back when the PlayStation 1 and the Sega Saturn. Was there ever this much hatred for gaming? Was it ever this crazy? Somebody tell me, anybody who's older than me. I don't want to name names, but you guys should know who you are. And I really appreciate it. You know, anybody who's still watching at 48 minutes. I was going to stop around like 30, 35 minutes because I could have, but we might as well go all the way. You know, I did write all this down for episode 2. All right. Let's talk about 2 things, okay? One is that I put down that this is what I believe, okay? I don't really like the idea of like content creation. I think of I don't know. It's because it has a negative connotation, but it's like depending on the content, it could be good. So calling yourself a content creator, like having to let my family members know that I want to be a content creator is going to be a pretty shameful act in my opinion because it's certainly not the same thing as being an electrician or whatever. But you know, I believe that I would have always loved to have done radio, and I would have always loved to have done anything like that. Entertainment is my thing, and it's really what I want to do. So I know that it has a negative connotation, but I guess I don't consider myself a content creator so much as I'm a positivity creator. Dude, my background changes, and that's why everything has been just weird. There we go. Maybe it'll be just better like that. Anyway, I believe that I'm a positivity creator. I I'm generally a very positive person. That doesn't mean that I don't have my own issues, or I don't have my own problems, or I don't have my own struggles, inner or internal or external. That's really not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that when I set all of those things aside, I'm like a super awesome, happy, funny, hardworking person that like I just have unlimited energy. Like my buddy Top Loader, unlimited energy. I don't really. That's the thing. I wanted to at least put that in front that like I'm a really nice person. I'm really fun to be around. I like to lift everybody up. I love hosting. I love having gatherings. I love hanging out. I love all that stuff. I love being social. I love helping people out. I love coming over and if somebody needs to get their weeds pulled, I'll gladly help. When I come over to people's houses, I often wash the dishes after I'm done eating, and I wash everybody's if I want to. It's no problem. I like it a lot. I like serving others. But that being said, you know, I also don't like to suffer fools for very long and stuff. So while I'm a positivity creator and stuff, I'll admit that on Twitter, especially, you could find some shit that I've said where I've been pretty nasty in some sense. I don't know. I think I'm being a little harsh on myself because I did conduct myself in a pretty fair manner in most instances. But what I'm saying is that there may be times where you may find content of mine that, like a video that I made, I probably made 2 videos, maybe 3 maximum, towards some people who really pissed me off. And I didn't say anything that you would probably expect to see on Twitter, but I did say some things like I've used the word coward, weasel, cocksucker. You know what I mean? I've said stuff that I may call regrettable, but I will stipulate that it came after an onslaught of complete toxic, just putrid, you know what I mean? Bullshit, verbal diarrhea, absolute baseless horseshit. So I'm just gonna say that most of the time I'm really fair up front, and I do take my time, and I'm pretty nice at first. But it's like I've said before, the whole Roadhouse advice from Dalton. I want you to be nice until it is time to not be nice. I'm nice about up to 5, maybe 6 times. I don't know how many. It depends on the kinds of things that you're saying, but I've only had to like be nasty with people that I actually consider bullies or online bullies in the sense of being on Twitter. You know what I mean? I don't, I absolutely despise bullies. They often, most people, whether they're bullies or not, cannot fully articulate their words nicely. And they can't do it in a manner that gets to the core of the issue without having to resort to attacks, personal attacks, uh, just deflection, not even taking the conversation serious, mocking you and stuff like that. So I just think that, you might, that is not obviously the kind of character that I normally am until I see somebody who's pretty unstable. Okay. So just understand that while I promote myself to be a positivity creator, just a little playful, friendly little uh, pun, I guess you could say. Uh, I do have my points. I do have my. I hear some sort of beeping or something. I'll get that in a second. It's weird. I do have my. I won't call them breaking points, but I do have my limits as far as like I'm willing to be a gentleman and cordial if you've been using, if you're talking to me like a teenager. Well, I'm not going to resort to talking to you like a teenager, but I'm sorry, I'm going to dunk on you as if you were a teenager dealing with an adult. And usually it's a pretty big sledgehammer. It's not the gavel, it's the sledgehammer. So I will just get that out of the way. I'm not saying that I'm perfect or anything like that, but I generally just want to lift all you guys up. I want to make sure that I'm sharing all the content with everybody. I want to make sure that, the other podcasts, Big Lip, Arcade Attack UK, Top Loader, Sid Spaceys, all these people are actually really, really nice people. They've been nothing but kind to me. And not only that, but I actually genuinely like listening to what they have to say, and like especially since Spaceys, he's a traveler. He just got back from a trip to Japan. So it's really interesting that these people do their content, as well as they're just lovely people if you get to know them on the side. So I really recommend everybody check out some of the pages that I've been mentioning. In fact, all of the pages. If you want me to be your VGM hero and you want me to save your life, you got to check these people out. Okay. Now, the last couple things I'll say about that as a positivity creator is that everybody's got to learn how to forgive and how to let go of the past. Forgive the mistakes of the past and believe in a brighter future. Is basically what I was writing to myself from here. Everybody makes mistakes, some very heinous mistakes, I'm sure, but that will remain in the past. It's more important to be able to forgive and forget and move on. You know what I mean? And I think that our culture, our societies, whatever Twitter is and everything is, I don't know. It's like it's just not general principle anymore to be a little ashamed of when you do silly things in public, or when you're not serious about the problems that you have, uh, to not be able to forgive for mistakes that we've made or things that we have said towards each other. Like, if I called somebody an asshole, they're still bent about that. And I think it's petty, because my mother always taught me that if there's one thing she taught me, it was that sticks and stones might break my bones, but words may never hurt me. Which basically means that, unless the words are true about you, which that changes the story completely. If you don't really actually think that they're true, if they're not true factually, then they should have no weight to them. So forgive the past and head towards a brighter future where you're able to forgive some of your enemies, or some of the people that you may have gotten in entanglements with. Even me, the people that I've gotten in to Twitter fights with and everything. It's not like I really wanted to fight. And I really wish that they understood that. They probably don't. The kinds of people that I've been fighting are quite bitter, and they're very dishonest. Is what I mean, and that's my problem with it. Is I'm a big person about I hate bullies, and I'm huge. Probably almost number one. It's number two is justice. Number one is wisdom. Number two is justice, and I cannot let it go. It's probably it's a double-edged sword. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing for me. But just wanted to say that, make sure that you're able to forgive and then forget about it and move on. All right. I guess we'll end it there. I'll save the hot topic for next time, because it's already an hour now, and I don't want to get into that because I don't want to end on a hot topic note. But if you guys do want to know and everything, you just let me know. Be like, why'd you do it to me? I will talk about it in the next one. Okay. I just think it's been a long time. It's already 4 o'clock in the morning for me. I got to get some sleep, guys. I'm gonna have to get up around, hopefully. Oh, that's a signal, right? She heard a car drive by or something. All right, I got to get whatever that beeping is, unless I'm just tripping. All right. Take care of yourselves, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate all the shares, all the retweets. I'll keep shouting everybody out. I'll see if I can tag everybody in the follow Friday again. Muffin's freaking out over here. All right. Take care of yourselves, everybody. Everybody I mentioned, totally love you guys. Thanks for everything. See ya.